Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out this portable power station from OSCAL. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what's inside. Alright, when you first open it up, you're going to find another piece of cardboard on top and then a box inside the foam, and it says OSCAL, only the brave. I like that. That's awesome. Take out this big piece of foam. Alright, and here is the power station right here. Okay, and then inside this accessories box where it says OSCAL, only the brave, we have our AC cord. We have a very thick user's manual and a after sales service warranty card. The manual is really thick because it does have multiple languages. And then there's two bags here. The first bag is, it looks like XT60 to MC4 cable, which is very nice. And then the other one is an XT60 to a 12-volt charging port for your car. Okay, so let me tell you a little about the PowerMax 1800 from OSCAL. First of all, we have 3 AC outlets. Combined, they can do a max of 1800 watts. And these are 20 amp receptacles, which is nice. Over here we have a couple of barrel ports. They are 5521 barrel ports. They do 12 volts at 6 amps max. And then we have a cigarette lighter port which can do 12 volts at 10 amps max. Over here we have our USB section. We have a couple of USB-A's. One is rated for 15 watts and the other is rated for 18 watts. And then we have a couple of USB-C's on top. Both of those are rated for 100 watts. We do also have a light bar going across here and a wireless charging pad on the top. We have 2 handles which also have like a rubbery, like a piece of rubber underneath, so it makes it pretty nice to hold. It's nice and soft. On the sides we have all of these vents, and I'm sure there's probably a fan on either side to let all the airflow go through. On the back we have all of our inputs. You just flip this down. And we have our solar input and also our car charging option input, like the cigarette lighter input. It is an XT60, and it can actually do 10 to 60 volts of DC up to 20 amps. Well, it says in the documentation that it can charge up to 800 watts with solar. Right here is an extra battery port because you can actually pair this with an additional battery. Your AC protection right here, so if you have any issues you can just press that. And then we also have our AC input right here. Whether you're charging with solar or AC and solar, your max charging rate is going to be 800 watts. Again, on this side it's just a lot of vents, and we're back to the front. Let's go ahead and measure this, and then we'll also see how much it weighs. Its length is right around 16 3/4 inches. It is right at 10 1/4 inches tall, and the depth is roughly 9.5 inches. And the weight is 31.2 pounds. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this thing on and see what the screen looks like. First, turn on the power button. And now the power button, it looks like it is flashing an orange, showing you that it's on. And then we have our display, and it shows the amount of days that are left at its current state, which says 10 days. It's at 55% state of charge, and it shows input watts and output watts over here. Let's go ahead and turn on the AC. The AC is on. It does show a little symbol for AC, and in the United States it is set for 60 Hertz. And now that we have the AC inverter on, it went down from 10 days to 27 hours. All right, let's go ahead and press on the DC USB. It does show a little DC symbol and a USB symbol right here. And let's turn on the light. There we go. And the light actually looks like it has 5 different modes. There's just your standard brightness. There's a high brightness. There is your SOS. Here is like a slow fade, I guess. And also we have a flashing. And then again, you have to hold it down for 3 seconds to turn it off. This button right here is for your communication. It can connect through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so let's go ahead and turn it on. And now it shows that we have a Bluetooth symbol and a Wi-Fi symbol. We'll be installing the app and showing you that a little bit later. All right, but for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug this thing in and charge it up all the way. And then I'm going to do some discharge tests. I'm going to do a discharge test from the AC side and from the DC side to kind of give you the efficiencies. So as soon as I'm done with those numbers, I'll let you know. All right, well, the efficiency tests are done for the OSCAL PowerMax 1800. And on the AC side, we got 849 watt hours out of the available 1024 watt hours. And that gives us an efficiency of 82.91. Now, that's not bad, but that's not great. On the DC side, we got a total of 888.77 watt hours out of the available 1024, and that gives us a 86.79% efficiency rate. So again, pretty good, but not the best I've seen. Next, the thing I want to really test is I want to see if I can plug in something that is over 800 watts, and if it's at 100%, will it just pull whatever it needs from the wall and not regard the 800 watt max charging speed that it has. That way you could almost kind of cheat your own house electrical system. I was thinking, like, you plug this into your wall along with another item that is kind of high wattage, and this thing would only draw 800 watts no matter how much you try to pull out of it. But then if you had like a 750 watt space heater, you could use that in conjunction with this if this only drew 800 watts. And then it would draw the rest of it from the battery pack. I don't think any power station actually does that, but I want to find out. So let's go ahead and find something that's going to draw about 1200 watts, and we'll see what it's pulling from the wall. All right, I got my 1200 watt heat gun right here, so let's go ahead and plug it in. And what we're wanting to know is if I start pulling this, and it'll probably say about 1200 watts on here, if on my kilowatt meter, will it say 1200 watts over there as well, or will it only max out at 800 watts? So let's find out. All right, it looks like we're pulling about 1063 watts. And over here we are pulling 1071 watts. So this is a true pass-through. It's not using any of the battery power, and it doesn't care about the 800 watt limit that it has. But let's find out if we unplug it. Now we're using just from the unit itself. I'm going to run this for about 5 minutes or so, and then I want to find out what happens when we plug it back in. Will it pull the 1146 watts now, plus an additional 800, because that would be 1900 watts, and that could easily max out a 15 amp outlet. That could be kind of a hazard. And actually, I'm going to put another couple heaters on here. And now we're actually pulling 1655 watts from this unit. Now it does have a max continuous of 1800 watts. So I do want to find out what happens when we do go over that. All right, well, the OSCAL is down to 93% and it's still pulling 1542 watts. So what I want to find out is, if I plug this into the wall now, is it only going to pull the 1542 plus like an additional couple hundred watts? Or is it going to try to charge the battery at 800 watts plus power all this, which is well over 2200 watts, and, you know, basically pop everything? So let's find out. And actually I'm going to put some glasses on, because this could seriously draw a lot from this little power bar, which is that's not what it's made for. So let's find out. Plugged it in, and we're looking at 1800 watts over here, but it reduced the output to 1380, and it's actually charging at 419 watts. So it does look like it maxes out the input to the AC receptacle at 1800 watts. Because as soon as you unplug it, it jumps back up to the 1545 watts that it was pulling before. I can audibly detect the lowering of the fan on the heat gun and these fans because I believe it lowered the voltage to compensate for the lower total wattage that it needed to be able to keep into that 1800 watt threshold. So that's a good safety feature. Okay, again, we are pulling the 1145 watts from the heat gun, and I actually have a floor heater down here. And I'm gonna run it at 750 watts, and we're gonna see if it can keep up. So let's go ahead and click this on 750 watts. We are right at 1756 watts right now being drawn from this unit. Our AC voltage is still 119.7. So let's go ahead and increase this floor heater up to 1250 watts and see what happens with the wattage coming out, the voltage, and just see if the unit shuts down in general. Instant. That's great, actually. All right, our next test is with this 12-volt vacuum. Now, this vacuum has been known to draw like 11.5 amps. So there are some power stations, you know what, especially the mid-range power stations, they just can't do it. They fail. All right, and also I set up an amp clamp right here so we can try to capture the maximum amount of amperage that does try to be drawn from this port. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, very, very good. That is awesome. I like that. And look at this amp draw. 12.99, almost 13 amps from this little vacuum right here. So 13 amps at 12 volts. I mean, that's 156 watts. Is that right? 12 times 13? That is right. So yeah, that drew almost 13 amps at 12 volts. That's 156 watts. That's a very good amp draw, and I love the fact that it was able to pull it off. Okay, so the next test I want to perform is the UPS test. Now, I believe this has a 10 millisecond UPS function, but I want to make sure that it works. Right here I have a super old laptop, and the battery died on it many, many years ago. So it's actually very important for me to actually have a UPS system plugged into this, which I actually do. But let's go ahead and see what happens when I unplug the unit. Right here you can see that it's out. Right here you can see that, actually, can you even see that? Let's go ahead and pull up the app so that way you can actually see on the screen. And what you can see here is it's the PowerMax 1800 US edition. All of the information that you need to download this app and get it connected is in the manual, and it's actually very easy. It was very easy. So you can see at the top that we are actually, from the AC, we are drawing in 920 watts. And what that is it's charging the battery with around 800 watts, and then it's using the rest of it to power the laptop. At the bottom you can see AC, and it says 110 watts because, again, the 109, 110 watts is just what the laptop is using. At the very bottom you can see that the AC is turned on and the DC is turned off. And in the middle you can see that it says 82%, that is the current state of charge. And I don't know if I mentioned, but at the very top it does say input power 798 and output power 109. So it kind of tells you all over the place what's going on with the wattage. At the very bottom, if you scroll down a little bit, there is the LED light, and you can change what kind of mode you want your light to be from the app. You don't have to cycle through them. But all in all, the app is very simple, but very functional in what it does. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we unplug this from the wall, kind of simulating a power outage. Off. There we go. Nothing happened. All it showed was that the input power went to 0, And that's really about it. And then if we plug it back in, here we go. Again, the laptop actually has no issues whatsoever. It doesn't even recognize that anything's happening. But just to kind of show you that this laptop, the battery on this laptop is complete garbage, if we unplug it, the laptop shuts off immediately. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take this thing outside because I have a ton of leaves in my backyard. And I'm going to use my leaf vacuum, and I think it runs around 1300 watts. And I want to make sure that a 1800 watt portable power station like this doesn't have any issues running that thing for like an hour. You know, turning it off and on, surges, everything. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, well, this is a great use for a portable power station like this. Just think if you had a really large yard. Bye, camera. These portable power stations, like this one from OSCAL, they don't always have to be used for only when there's an emergency or when your power is out. Just think of all those times when you wish you had a plug-in somewhere where you don't. I mean, just think for this instance right here, this is perfect because in my yard, I want to pick up all these leaves and I want to vacuum them up because of the wind. It's kind of windy out here and we're just going to be blowing and raking around forever. So I can use this portable power station, use my leaf vacuum, and make this a very simple job. Well, we weren't quite able to get the entire yard vacuumed up with this one power station that only has a little over 1,000 watt hours. And that blower right there, it uses 1,300 watts while it's running. So I'm very impressed with what we were able to do. All right, so when it comes to this portable power station from OSCAL, you know, it has everything that you need and really nothing that you don't. It has plenty of AC output. It's got enough USB-Cs, USB-As. It has your 12-volt power source. I like the fact that it has a light bar and that it has an app involved also. So you can actually monitor this through Bluetooth or from a Wi-Fi signal. With it only being 1,024 watt hours of LiPo4 batteries, it's easily manageable, so you can really take it anywhere. With it also having the ability to charge up with 800 watts of either AC power or solar power, that makes it so you can charge this thing up in an hour and a half, which is really nice. So if you have any questions about the OSCAL portable power station, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I'll have a link to this item in my description, just in case you want to look further into it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day. Bye-bye.